Hi, my name is Darren and I'm with Chipper. Today we're going to be talking about the lymphatic system and restorative yoga and finding a really powerful pose to stimulate lymphatic drainage in the body. The pose I'm going to be teaching you is called Viparita Karani, often called the legs up the wall pose, and it is exactly what it sounds like. If you take this pose in a yoga class, it may be augmented with some very fancy props. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to use just props that you likely have around the house. To get into the pose, you're going to fold up a blanket 3 or 4 times. This will be used to support the hips. You're going to place the blanket next to the wall and sit with your right hip against the wall. You can then pivot the legs up the wall, extending them high, so that the back is flat on the earth. If you have low back issues, you can further support this pose by putting a second or a third folded blanket underneath the hips. Sometimes keeping the legs together on the wall can be challenging, and you can assist this and support this by putting a strap around the thighs. If you don't have a traditional yoga strap, you can always use a belt. Traditionally, you will hold this pose for about 20 minutes, and you will naturally feel tingling as the blood and lymphatic fluid drain from the legs. This is a sign that the pose is doing exactly what you want it to do. However, the tingling can be distracting for some people. So you'll probably want to bend the knees and place the feet flat on the wall from time to time. As the tingling subsides, you can extend the legs back up. I would encourage you to use an egg timer or a timer on your cell phone so that you can close your eyes, deepen your breath, and simply relax into the pose. 15 to 20 minutes is all it takes to really flush out the lymphatic system with this pose. For the purpose of this video, we're going to be holding the pose for about 10 minutes. However, many people like to hold the pose longer, and you can safely hold this pose for as long as you'd like. Some people like to hold it as much as a half hour or 40 minutes. This pose is safe for almost anyone. However, if you have unregulated high blood pressure, you will want to consult your physician before assuming this pose. The cells of the human body, like all living creatures, do basic things. They take in nutrients, they produce energy and do whatever their work is, and then they produce waste, just like the body as a whole. You eat food and take in nutrients, you use that food to fuel the body and build the body and sustain the body, and then what's left over is waste and it's eliminated from the body. And just as you need some place for the waste to exit the body and a sewer system to take that waste as far away from you as possible, the cells of the body need a similar system. And that is what the lymphatic system does. It takes the waste produced by the cells and it removes it into the bloodstream and then out of the body. The lymphatic system is related to both the immune system and the circulatory system, and it basically has the function of regulating fluids in the body and eliminating waste from the tissues of the body and helping to remove toxins and other foreign bodies from the tissues of the body. And it does this, the lymphatic system does this in much the same way as the heart, pumping blood through the blood vessels of the body, through the veins and arteries. The big difference is that the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. It works on gravity and changing pressure in the body and the movement of the body. What we attempt to do in yoga with regard to the lymphatic system is to support that movement of lymph fluid through the lymph vessels that run through most of the body. In order for that to happen, we need to understand how those lymph vessels function. The lymphatic fluid in the body moves from the tissues of the body into the lymph vessels and then toward the heart, where those toxins, impurities, and pathogens can be eliminated by the immune system and the circulatory system. But in order for that to happen, that lymph fluid needs to move, and it can only move in one direction, and that is toward the heart. To prevent the lymph from flowing backwards, there are one-way valves inside those vessels. And when we tip the body upside down, those one-way valves open up wide, and the lymph fluid flows with gravity back toward the heart. And this is really important because it is very easy in a modern sedentary life for the fluids in the body, the lymphatic fluid and the interstitial fluids that surround the cells of the body, to pool in the legs and feet and lower extremities. So going upside down, putting the feet above the heart, is essential to creating healthy lymphatic flow in the body. When you're ready to release this pose, be sure to do so very mindfully. You can do this by bending the knees to the chest, hugging the knees in close, and then carefully rolling to one side. It's nice to give the nervous system a chance to incorporate this pose fully by resting on your side and breathing deeply. When you're ready, you can return to a seated position and take some deep breaths, enjoying the benefits of your practice. Thank you so much for practicing Viparita Karani with me. If you enjoyed this pose, check out some of the other restorative practices available on Chipper.